over $3,000 on Royal Caribbean cruises by spending only $400 in the casino. I'll tell you how I qualified for the discounts, what offers I received, exactly what I paid, and most importantly, what I saved. So watch this video to learn how you can do this too. My name is Amy and welcome to my channel. I'm a solo cruiser with a passion for travel and a passion for saving money. So when I discovered Royal Caribbean's Club Royale program, I was delighted to have a chance to save money on my future cruises. Now I know what you're thinking, I'm just spending money to save money, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I would have booked another cruise in 2025 at full price, but then I would have only been able to afford one when I was able to purchase three, and most likely that one would have been double the price of all three combined. Also, as a budgeter, I set aside a vacation fund each year and I like to stretch that as far as I can. I put all of my 2024 budget towards my cruise on Icon of the Seas in February of 2025, and that sailing really reignited my passion for cruising. I fell in love with that ship and I was so desperate for a way to sail again without breaking the bank. That cruise was really expensive and nearly the most expensive one I've sailed to date. So if I knew I wanted to keep cruising, I had to figure out a way to save money. With cruise fares at an all-time high, it was definitely putting a damper on my future plans. So I started doing research because I knew the casino programs existed and I'd seen a lot of people on YouTube raving about free cruises. So when I was on Icon of the Seas, I figured I'd check out the casino because I had nothing to lose but the $400 in my pocket. And of course, I lost nearly every cent. I think I walked away with 35 to be exact. If you saw my previous video, my free cruise cost how much? Then you'll know how the casino program works and how to book any offers you may receive. So if you haven't watched that video yet, I highly recommend you check it out right after this one. I'll link it in the description below. Ultimately, I qualified to receive casino cruise offers from Club Royale, Royal Caribbean's casino program, because I played and lost $400 plus reinvested all of my winnings on slot machines during the trip. And I earned a little over 400 tier points during that time. This was enough to qualify me for the first tier of the program, which benefits include receiving exclusive casino offers. So about 30 days after I returned home, I started receiving emails offering me free cruise fare when traveling with two people and discounted cruise fare for the second passenger. I do want to point out that when I travel solo, I don't qualify for 100% free cruise fare. I pay the discounted rate that is offered to the second passenger, plus the port fees and taxes, but all in all, it's still an excellent value. So why did I end up booking all of these cruises? Well, for 2025, I'd been hoarding a bunch of vacation time that was use it or lose it by December 31st, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with it all until I received all these wonderful cruise offers. I started looking through the ceilings and picked out several that were a good fit for my schedule. Ultimately, I booked 5 nights on the Wonder of the Seas and back-to-back sailings on the Freedom of the Seas for a total of 9 nights on that ship. Here's an example of all of the offers that are currently in my Club Royale inbox to give you an idea about the insane opportunity this program offers to book discounted cruises for nearly every week of the year. I do find that they release a new offer to me every week, so there's always something available. My offers for Club Royale can only be used for one sailing, so the ones that I've used are no longer in my inbox. If anyone else shares their inbox with you, just be aware that they may have different offers because I'm at the lowest tier level as I barely spent anything in the casino to earn this. The more you spend in the casino, the better offers you will receive, and the higher class ships you'll have to choose from. Now, I've heard through social media that cruise sales have been slowing a bit because of the economy, and they're really looking to get people onto their ships. So that could be a reason why there's such an uptick in offers in my inbox this month. Normally, I only have 1 to 5 at a time. And here's a flyer that shows what itineraries are available when you click View Itineraries on the website next to the offer. This is also the same flyer that gets sent to you in email form. Now this does vary per offer, and this just happens to be the itineraries available for my newest offer in my inbox. Because you do get this in email form, you don't always have to go to the Club Royale website to see what's available. Now let's get to the best part. So what did I actually book and how did I save over $3,000? Well, let's go over my 3 itineraries. I know it's going to be a lot of numbers, so I'll put everything up on the screen as I go over each one, and then I'll leave a summary at the end. First up, I booked Wonder of the Seas for 5 nights out of Miami. I'm traveling solo on this cruise, so I did have to pay cruise fare. The original cost of this booking was $1,300 plus port fees and taxes of $139.17 for a total cost of $1,439.17. But I also received a cruise discount of $872 and $214 for a total savings of $1,086. Yes, that's right. I spent $400 in the casino and saved $1,086 on this cruise. My total out of pocket cost for this cruise is $353.17. Now, I know I'm going to have other expenses such as gratuities and transportation to and from the airport to cover. I did use my frequent flyer miles to book my airfare, and I'm flying in on the morning of the cruise so I can avoid a hotel room for the night. I know seasoned cruisers are yelling at the screen right now about how you should never show up the morning of the cruise, but because the airfare from my home airport is so darn expensive, really the most expensive in the country, and the hotels in Miami are a bit unreasonable, it was worth saving the money even with the risk of missing the cruise. I don't advise this for most people though. So now that you see I've already saved $1,086, I'm sure you're wondering where I saved the other $2,000. Well, that's pretty simple. I booked back-to-back cruises on the Freedom of the Seas for 5 nights and 4 nights. I am staying in the same cabin, so I don't have to pack up and move. Now, for these 2 cruises, I am sailing with a friend, so she will be covering part of the cruise fare, port fees, and taxes. So that is going to be included in my part of the savings. Because if I'm not paying it out of pocket, then I consider it savings. And just a helpful tip, before you book a back-to-back cruise, go on Royal Caribbean's website and find several rooms that are available on both sailings. So when you call up to book, you'll be able to give them cabin numbers so you won't have to move between sailings. You do want to make sure that they connect these sailings in the system for you so you're not forced to disembark with all the other passengers. Instead, there will be a special waiting room and line for those returning right back to the ship. So, for the first sailing of 5 nights on Freedom of the Seas, the total cruise fare for 2 adults was $1,004 plus taxes and port fees of $346.58 for a total cost of $1,358.58. I was then offered casino discounts of $574 and $215 for a total savings of $789. My total cost for this cruise was $561.58, and my friend will be contributing about $250 towards the sailing. So I'm really only paying $311.58. For the second sailing of 4 nights, the total cruise fare for 2 adults was $1,256, plus taxes and port fees of $262.58 for a total cost of $1,518.58. I was offered casino discounts of $718 and $269 for a total savings of $987. The total cost for this cruise was $531.58. And again, my friend will be contributing about $250 towards the sailing, so I'm really only paying $281.58. Luckily for these sailings, I was also able to book frequent flyer airfare, but I am coming in the night before the first sailing, and by some miracle, I just barely had enough hotel rewards points to cover the one night. I'll still need to cover the cost of my gratuities and transportation to and from the airport in Miami, and of course, any port excursions I choose to take on my trip. So let's do a recap of all of those numbers, because I'm sure your head is probably spinning at this point. For me, it's just another day in the office. The total cruise fare, taxes, and port fees for all sailings came to $4,308.33, which is just a little over what I paid for that 1 week on Icon of the Seas. The total casino discounts came out to $2,862. So the total that I paid Royal Caribbean was $1,446.33. My friend will be reimbursing me approximately $500 to cover her share. We're pretty much going to split the 2 Freedom of the Seas sailings 50-50. So, really, I'm only out of pocket $946.33 for 14 nights of cruising. Including my friend's contribution, I saved $3,362. This is a saving of 78%. Now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, what about that $400? Why didn't you figure that into the cost that you gave us? Well, that's because the program allows me to receive offers until March 31st of 2026, which I can guarantee I'll be booking more sailings for 2026. So that initial $400 investment gets spread out among all of the cruises I book until I spend more money in the casino, which I will need to do at some point if I want to continue receiving offers past the program year end of March 31st, 2026. And I almost forgot to mention that all three of the offers gave me a bonus. They gave me free play in the casino. Two offered $25 and one offered $50. So that's an additional $75 I get to spend in the casino with a chance to maybe win a jackpot. I hope you found this information useful and it encourages you to investigate the casino programs on cruise lines if you're really interested in cruising and you need to save a bit of money. Now remember, when first starting out, to get into the program, you do have to book a cruise and gamble. But you don't have to book a 7 night cruise. You could book the cheapest sailing a line has to offer and start off that way. I know a lot of cruise lines offer 3 and 4 night sailings that are rather affordable. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And if you're unclear how the Club Royale program works, don't forget to check out my video linked in the description below titled, My Free Cruise Cost How Much? It gives an in-depth look at the rewards points, tier credits, and how the Club Royale program works. I also go in depth how to locate your casino offers and how to book them when you're ready. And one final note, responsible gambling should be a fun and controlled activity. Do not gamble more than you can afford to lose, and make sure you're keeping tabs on what you spend. There are plenty of YouTube videos available that will show you the best machines to play and will give you guidance on how to reduce your losses. If someone you know is struggling with problem gambling, call the National Problem Gambling Hotline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537 for confidential support and referrals to local resources. And I really want to thank you for joining me today, and thanks so much for watching. Happy cruising, everyone!